across to debate number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the exit polls might not have given the complete picture, but it has sent a definitive message. With the Aadmi Party on the cusp of creating history by scooping Punjab, it has made one thing clear, that Rahul Gandhi and company are this close to losing the self-proclaimed position of the principal opposition tag. The Aadmi Party is soon emerging as the national alternative as compared to the done and dusted Congress Party by snatching Punjab from the jaws of the latter. It is not me who's making this assertion, but the numbers of the exit polls. Let me show you why we are saying this. The vote share of the Congress in Punjab, which is considered as one of the last bastions where it is standing strong, in 2017 was 38.5%, but come 2022, the exit polls have shown a dip of almost 14% in this state. Aadmi Party, which had a 23.7% vote share in 2017, has gained a mammoth lead to reach 40.43% according to the Times Now veto exit poll, which means an increase of nearly 17% vote share. Let me also bring to you the picture of how the downfall for the Congress has started. In 2014, it was in government in 13 states, out of which it enjoyed majority status in 9 states. In 8 years, the tables have really turned. Come 2022, it's in government in 6 states and enjoys the majority in only 3 states. If Punjab goes, that number is also going to come down to 2 states. And therefore, the legitimate question that we are asking is, Congress's loss Kejriwal's gain? Does he become the national alternative? That's the question and the debate.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining GVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP and Lokesh Jindal of the Congress Party is Ahbaab Grewal, spokesperson of the Aadmi Party. And Grewal Sahab, we've had many debates in the past, but I want to ask you today, if Aadmi Party is the single largest party in Punjab or crosses the majority as many polls are showing, then is the Aadmi Party now moving towards becoming a national alternative to the Congress Party, or are you counting your chickens way before the eggs have hatched?
Well, ma'am, Punjab has voted for change. Aadmi Party, we are sitting in Delhi. We are fighting both of them. Hopefully, Punjab has chosen change, and I'm sitting in Punjab, and I can feel that we have chosen change. And as far as the alternative is concerned, this election is the death knell for the Congress. It's going to be a death knell. Why? Because they have imploded. They have imploded because of their own idiosyncrasies, because of their own egos, because of the Gandhis believing that they have a right to rule this country. And we are just trying to tell the people of this country that, yes, there's an alternative. There's a better alternative which talks of a corruption-free government. And the congressman has just been exposed this time for what they are, because their own chief has exposed them for the corruption they had. And then the Gandhis, by choosing the old guard, chose to manifest that by saying that, no, we stick with the corrupt ones. And that's what the people of Punjab have seen. And fortunately, I feel that if we become the harbingers of change, wherein this old decaying party, which has been there for too long, and okay, they've had their time, they've had their moment in the sunshine, and once they've had that, now it's time for a new dispensation which can actually go ahead and challenge.
The glory days are over for the Congress Party. Corruption, yes, infighting within the Congress in Punjab. Too many changes of people who were in charge, too much of crosstalk. Everything has decimated, at least the exit polls show. And none of them are showing the Congress beyond, let's say, 30 seats in Punjab. One more state gone. Do you think Kejriwal has has become a
Navika,
national alternative, replacing Rahul Gandhi, who doesn't seem to have any knack of winning elections?
I think Arvind Kejriwal has started considering himself as the new Napoleon, coming with his Napoleonic code and claiming that he is going to bring about revolution, but then that is all going to phase away on 10th. If you talk about the polls, 2004 also the polls were predicting another picture. 2014 the polls were predicting some another picture. So we cannot say that the exit polls are absolutely right always. And if you look at Aam Aadmi Party, what was with respect to the Dalits? They didn't say a single word for the Dalits. It was only Congress which came up with the Dalit chief minister, and it was BJP which said a year before that they would be projecting a Dalit chief minister, but the people of Punjab, they have simply washed out BJP as it never existed. In fact, the Prime Minister himself was fearful of coming to Punjab because he knows what he has done to Punjab. So all these claims of Aam Aadmi Party, they are simply embarking upon some scavenging that they plan to do just because Congress was coming up strong. Everybody is coming after Congress, but then they won't be benefiting much about it. At the most, they will have some form of a gains in Malwa, but they will completely be rooted out when it comes to Doaba as well as Majha. So these are all Mungeri Lal ke haseen sapne, and I allow them to have this joy up till 10th of March. Let them have all the fun. But the 10th of March, the picture is going to be clear.
GVL Narasimha Rao कम से कम EVM को तो blame नहीं किया कांग्रेस पार्टी ने.
Okay, you see, I don't know whether TMC after every election we seem to find a new national force emerging in politics. That's how the media build-up is, because post West Bengal elections, everyone talked about TMC becoming a national alternative. Certainly another state victory for AAP would be a significant gain for them, but it takes
a little bit of embarrassment for the BJP, which raised the issue of terrorism, Khalistan, just a day before campaigning was coming to an end.
No, certainly not. I think being a border state in Punjab, I think national security is paramount, and any party that that compromises or that appears to compromise will certainly be raised as a big issue by BJP, not just in this election. We will continue to raise it forever. If any party Malik Odil's national security, if they really compromise with them, certainly expect strong opposition.
No, but then that's not a campaign trail matter. That is something that the government should have acted upon well before campaign time in Punjab. You should have gone after the Aam Aadmi Party well before. But I want to ask Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal, do you think the Congress is a bad loser because they think कुछ भी कर लो आपके मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन सपने?
Congress is obviously a sore loser because they feel that it's their right to rule. Number one. Number two, the BJP's nationalistic and the protecting the nation is very good, but then you allowed an ISI agent to stay in the PM residence for about 4 years. So you are known ISI agent. So national security was under threat in a border state for the past 4.5 years, and now he's your friend. So the Congress dilemma comes from the fact that all they can show is Rahul, Priyanka, and Ma'am Sonia. But they can't. They do not have the guts to project anybody else. No congressman worth his salt can say that I will lead the Congress eventually. Why? Because there will always be a Gandhi sibling. They've appropriated Bapu's name for 50 years, Bapu's surname for 50 years, and they've ruled us, and now they blame everybody for appropriating everything else. Well, it's enough. 130 years, okay, it's an old tree, it's decayed, and it's time for them to go.
Is the Congress's time over? Is it time now to look at another alternative? Well, the BJP thinks every election there is a new national alternative that comes up, but people will keep trying, GVL Narasimha Rao. That's the way of the world. There cannot be a vacuum in politics, just like there cannot be a vacuum anywhere, and somebody will come and pick up those empty shoes and fill them in, and that's the way election after election the country is looking for an opposition that can actually challenge the BJP, because elections in 2024 is what everybody will need to look at. Well, we'll take a look at whether these exit polls are going to be the exact polls both in Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. But as of now, the direction seems to be majority of the polls that are giving Punjab to the Aam Aadmi Party, UP to the BJP. Can things go wrong? Well, anytime, every time, there is possibility of a last-minute complete turnaround. We'll keep watching and we'll keep bringing you the latest.